Hello, everyone. If this is your first time meeting me, my name is Paula. I am a certified life coach, speaker, author, and founder of Beautifully Made. And I just want to say, welcome back. So I'm so excited for today's topic, and it is knowing the will of God. And I have some notes over here on the side. So if you see me looking over, that is why. Really quick though, for those that are coming over from my podcast, which is called the Overcomer Podcast, I just want to say welcome to the YouTube channel family. I'm so excited to have you here. Make sure you take a moment, hit the subscribe button, comment down below, share this video, all that good stuff. And for those on my YouTube channel who have not yet checked out my podcast, when you are done listening or watching this video, make sure you head over, find the Overcomer Podcast, subscribe to it as well. And yeah, let's jump right in. So today's topic is knowing the will of God. Knowing the will of God. I don't know about you all, but I've definitely had times in my life where I just really wanted God to speak concerning his will for my life. I just wasn't sure, God, what am I supposed to do? Like, what is the direction I'm supposed to go in? Just what is my next move? And I just didn't know, how do I find out what the will of God is, right? A lot of people want to know, what is God's plan? What does he want me to do? Which step does he want me to take? What direction does he want me to go in? And the other day in my devotion time, I came across a passage of scripture that I just felt like spoke so much to knowing the will of God. And that is Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 6. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 6. This is how we discover the will of God, okay? Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek his will in all you do. And here's the key. And he will show you which path to take. Wow. So right there in Proverbs 3, God gives us the blueprint of how do we discover what his will is. We discover his will by doing three things. First, trusting in the Lord with all of our heart, trusting that God knows what he's doing, trusting that our lives are in his hands. God is our creator. He knows us better than we will ever know ourselves. He knows us better than anyone can ever or will ever know us. He created us. And God gave us a purpose. He gave us a plan. There's a reason for each and every one of us, right? And so we have to trust that God knows what he's doing. We have to trust that the word that God spoke over our lives, that it is sure. That we can have confidence in his word. We can have confidence in what he's spoken, that God he doesn't waver. He doesn't, say one thing one day and something else the other day. God is not like people, right? Sometimes we can be a little finicky. We can be a little wishy-washy, but that's not how God operates. God does not operate like that. Whatever God has spoken over your life, you can put everything on the table that you have and say, I know for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, that God is going to come through on his word. So the first thing is trusting in God with all your heart. The second thing is, do not depend on your own understanding. Now, for those that know me really well, and I'm going to give you all a little entrance, okay, into more of my personal life, but I'm a very analytical person. I tend to be in my head a lot. I think a lot. I'm always like trying to figure something out, always asking God all of these questions, okay, because I want to figure it out. I want to know. I want to have understanding. But the scripture tells us, do not depend on your own understanding. See, here's the thing. The knowledge that I have, the experiences that I've had, that is so limited compared to the knowledge that God has. because God created everything. And not only did he create everything, but he rules over everything. So for me to just depend on my education or the experiences that I've had, for me to just take those things and move forward in my life and my purpose with that limited knowledge, it just won't work. It's not a wise decision. I can't depend on what I think I know. I can't depend on what I think I understand or what makes sense to me. I have to trust that even if it doesn't make sense logically, even if, off the bat, God tells me to do something and it may not fit into, my rationale or what I think is best or what I think makes sense, I still have to go with it. I still have to move because God knows what's best for me. God knows my beginning from my end, right? God knows what's coming up next week. God knows what my life will look like 5 years from now. And so we cannot lean on our own understanding. We have to follow God, even if it doesn't make sense. Even if it doesn't make sense. Scripture tells us in Romans chapter 8 that all things work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose. So even if it doesn't make sense, know that it's all working together. Know that God is not the God who leaves you or abandons you. Wherever God leads you, he will sustain you there. And the last thing, seek his will in all that you do. Listen, it's okay for us to have desires and aspirations and a vision for our life. I think vision is so important, right? But we have to make sure that we are lined up with God's will. So what I like to do is, if there's something that I'm desiring, whether it be to make a business investment or, wanting a bigger house or, whatever it is, I'm always taking it to God first. I'm always presenting it to God first. Why? Because I want to make sure that it aligns with God's plan and purpose for my life. I won't know that if I don't take it to God. I won't know that if I just have these conversations, just in my head with myself and make a decision just based on what I think, right? So you have to take it to God. You have to ask God, is this your best? Is this something that I should do right now? And you wait for God to speak. You wait for God to respond. You wait for God to give you confirmation. See, a lot of times the issue is that we present it to God, we bring it to him, and we feel like, well, the work is done. I brought it to God, so now I can go ahead and make the decision. But we forget about the waiting part. We forget about the part that's like, well, no, you need to wait for that response. Wait for that confirmation. Wait for God to lead you in the right direction. Because while what you may be seeking God about is not a bad thing, it just may not be his best, or it may not be the right time. And you'll never know if you're just focused on what you want for yourself versus God's best for you. All right. So how do you know God's will? How do you know the direction to go in? Trust in him with all your heart. Don't depend on your own understanding, and seek his will in everything that you do. All right. So thank you all so much for tuning in to this video or listening to the podcast. So excited that you were able to join me today. Again, take a moment, make sure you are subscribed, make sure you know when my videos or when my podcast episodes are posted and live for you. Make sure you share. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and comment down below. I'm so excited to have you all with me week in and week out. You have no idea idea how much it means to me that you support my channel, you support Beautifully Made, and I'm just excited. I really am excited, and just know that I support you as you follow Christ. I'm following him as well. We're doing this thing together. So be encouraged, and know that God has his best for you. All right. I look forward to seeing you all, connecting with you all in the next one. All right. Bye-bye.